Hello, everyone, and welcome to this really exciting session organized by Women Tech Makers Austria. My name is Huma Hamid, and I'm a technical program manager and also the co founder and former president of a global STEM community and a nonprofit organization called Pakistani Women in Computing here in the US. Today's session is focused on something that is very close to my heart. It's a framework for navigating career transition in tech. And I will introduce you to this framework that I have used in my career and have also validated it through experiences of my other colleagues and friends who have done similar transition backed by literature to see how you can successfully structure your career transition move in a more goal-oriented way. So let's get started. My personal educational and career journey is spanned over 15 years. Just like Sheryl Sandberg said, it was more of a career as a jungle gym and not as a ladder. I started my education in technology in 2001 and graduated in 2005. After that, I decided to break into in the industry and took a year between deciding if I wanted to pursue a master's or not. For master's, I decided to go to the UK, and that's where I did my master's in information systems management. After completing my studies in London, I decided to go back to Pakistan and started or relaunched my career once again as a software quality analyst. During that time, I realized that I was not able to find the job that I was looking for, or I was really passionate about different areas or domains, but I was able to find a really good starting career journey or a really good environment where I was thriving. While I was doing really good in that job, a series of life events happened, and I moved to the US 10 years ago. When I came here, I once again I relaunched myself and joined the tech industry as a test engineer. And then in the past 10 years, I've already transitioned through three different job roles in three different companies just within the US. So overall, my career journey has spanned 15 years, and during that time, I have lived and worked in three different countries, five different companies, and five different job roles. Just like many other women who think who believe that they're supposed to know where they're going and that there's one right path to follow to get there. I also thought that I should know where I'm going and what I will be doing next in my career or where my career is going. But every single time I got comfortable in doing what I was doing, something happened and I decided to change. So the audience of this talk it's well suited for people who are either early in their career or they are in mid-career and they are not satisfied with what they are doing, or there is something in their life that has happened that they are now considering changing a, a career. So when we talk about career transition, has many different meanings. However, in the context of today's talk, what we are discussing here is changing job families or the process of changing job families within the same industry. And in this case, it's tech. And it's becoming increasingly common for people to transition a job family, within the same industry. And most of the time, these transitions are driven by skills based strength or learning and less by what you are really good at technically. One of the surveys or studies conducted by United States Department of Labor recently showed that an average American worker will hold a dozen jobs between age 18 and 15. Now, this doesn't show that how many career transition they will do within tech or if the study was not focused on that. But it definitely indicated that people want to grow or they want to transition or they want to change even when they are during the early and then throughout the career life cycle. So before you consider changing or you consider transitioning, it's also important to understand what are the different factors or different triggers that can lead to that transition. And if you are one of, if you are seeing one of those triggers and you are considering transition, that may be the right move for you to do that. So it's really important to understand the why part. There are four different triggers that has contributed to my career transition, and that's what I would like to share. And you may find other people doing, changing careers because of that. There is an evolution part. For example, our economy is it's going through an evolution right now because of COVID. We're all working from home, so there are opportunities where building products, building technologies that enable that evolution. There's also an industry evolution part. So robotics, artificial intelligence, AR, VR, machine learning, all of these new trends and technologies, they're also changing the direction in which, we are evolving. Then there can be companies, for example, there can be a company that is more hardware oriented, but they decided to become more software oriented. So these are the different these are the different ways in which things around you are changing. Then there can be environmental factors, like if you are working in a company, there are different, or within your team and organization, there are different opportunities that are coming up, and things are changing around you in the environment that you're already in. Then and they have a direct impact on you that can also lead to you considering for a transition. The third one is a very important one. If you have been working in tech for not for long, or if you're just starting and you're not really enjoying what you're doing anymore, and or there's something else that is capturing your interest, it's called personal growth. So you want to grow in a specific direction, or you want to learn something different and then grow into doing that there's an element of personal growth, and that can also trigger a career transition. The last one is something that is more event based. So in my case, there's a series of events in my life. Like I've moved to different countries for family reasons. I got married. I started a family. So all of those major life events also uh, dictated or influenced the way I was looking at my career, and then I started shifting or diverting from what I was doing into orienting or pivoting into something that was very different from my original career path. So the framework that I'm sharing here is called finding your fit and making the move. So finding your fit and making the move, it was a personal journey of my career transition. When I shared a similar journey with one of my friends who has also gone through different transition in her career journey, but there were so many similarities in the way we approached, in the way we took actions, in the way we made decisions, and the steps that we took, that we decided to build a framework around it. And we also validated some of the things that we are proposing here, how you can approach your career transition, backed by literature that already exists. What we are proposing that you can use your soft skill as the primary driver for change. So if you're already working in tech, then identifying what your soft skills are and then relying on that to make a career transition can be a really successful move if you know what you're trying to do. So let's see. So the first really important thing here is finding the fit, or finding what you're interested in. There are three steps that are part of that, like finding your fit. The first one is becoming self-aware and knowing what your strengths are. Becoming self-aware. The second one is doing a self-assessment on your soft skills. And the third one is aligning some time-bound goals with some tangible opportunities. So the self-awareness and self-assessment part includes knowing your strengths, be it your knowledge strengths, knowing your skills and your abilities, and then also finding out what are the things in your current job that you really like, and what are the things that you do not like about your job. What are the things that are your accomplishments and you're really proud of them? and where do you struggle most when you're working on something. These can help you identify what your, where your top soft skills are. And that can make you really self aware. And that self awareness can lead you choose the next career path for yourself if you're still in that, if you're still in that stage where you do not know where you want to go next, then self awareness and self assessment of your top soft skills will help you fill that gap. It's also proven by research that your top soft skills will make you more fulfilled at work and you can become a rock star performer versus knowing something technically. So you enjoy more when your soft side is fulfilled and you perform better than your peers. Once you know what your assessment is and you're self-aware and you know your key strengths, then it's important that you align your abilities and your interests and your values that you're really, really passionate about with a job role that already exists there. So knowing that job role and learning about the requirements will set you towards filling that gap if there are any learning and experience gap. So if you are someone who really enjoys building product and defining what we should be building, and you are a software developer right now, then knowing that from the journey from how to build is from what to build, what will it take? Like what are the requirements of the new job? And then mapping your existing profile with that job requirement will help you learn what are the learning and experience gaps that you have. So based on that, you can work on filling those learning gaps. It can be through taking courses, taking classes, taking certifications, taking some, going back to school, a different combination of those. So that will help you fill the learning gap. And after that, you can always take some extra projects, extra assignment, volunteer work to fill the experience gap. Once you do that, in the meantime, also explore opportunities within the company that, the role that you want to go into. It's always easier to transition internally than transition externally. So there are internal and external job opportunities that are available. So start exploring those. Once you find your fit, you know where you want to go, you know what it looks like, what you want to become, then it's the time to make the move. So making the move part or that stage requires 4 different components. Network, expressing your interest in new opportunities to your network, and then preparing for the role, and then finally switching to that new role. A well-known saying is network is your net worth, which means having a network of peers, of mentors, of sponsors, of a community who has already done that or they are willing to support you in doing what you are trying to do can really help you accelerate your learning and growth. So that network can fast track you on the path of transition. I cannot emphasize more than having the power of communities. So there are already several different communities that you will find with special interest groups, with special people, people in a specialized domain, be it software development or front-end development or product management or machine learning or artificial intelligence, any of those areas or job roles that interest you. There are already communities out there that have people who are either trying to transition or they have already transitioned, and people are very open to share their experiences and knowledge with you, just like we are doing right now as part of Women Tech Makers. So it's important that you tap into that community power. Also, find people who are already in that job role, connect with them, show what you're willing to do, and express your interest. It's really important to express your interest. So if you're looking for transition, sitting in isolation and just thinking about it will not get you where you want to go. So expressing your interest in new opportunities internally and externally to your network, to your manager, can be really, really helpful. Both times when I transitioned from software test engineer to a software engineer role, and then from software engineering to a product management role, I was doing learning outside of my company or my, where I was working, but I still expressed interest in transition to both my managers. And both times they didn't have an opportunity right there and then, but they had me on the list. And when a new project opened, they added me to that project as a team member, and that was a really good opportunity for me to get into that and accelerate my learning and grow from there. The next one is opportunity favors the prepared. Once you know the position that you are interested in, it's really important that you prepare your resume, your LinkedIn, and also an elevator pitch that might include why are you transitioning, to prepare yourself for the job opportunity, because you do not know when those opportunities are presented to you. So being prepared is a really good starting point. Having an online portfolio, especially if you're in transition and you have not done something before, can set you apart from other candidates who are also thinking about transitioning. So if you are thinking about becoming a software developer, contributing to open source, volunteering, freelancing, or some of these are taking side projects, shadow assignments. Some of these, there's these ways to enhance your learning and enhancing your experience, and also publishing and showing what you're learning. As a designer, it's you can use some of those places where you can build your portfolio. If you're looking and you're an aspiring product manager, you may not have built a product, but you can still write some blogs about what are the products that you're most favorite and why they're your favorite, and what you would like to improve in those products. That will show that you're really serious about changing your you're really serious about growing into this new role. Doing mock interviews and attending career fairs. These will help you get into that mindset, get into that phase where you feel more prepared. If an opportunity is presented, you will know what kind of requirements of a job has and what you need to do and how you will actually perform on that day if someone comes to you and asks you for a job. Finally, switching to the new role, you may find that there are stepping stones where you want to go, and there are a few things like other transition roles that can help you get there. One such example is that when I was transitioning from being a software test engineer to a software developer, writing production level code, I took an intermediate role as a software test engineer for test automation, writing test automation framework. So I was still doing development. I was learning all the tools and technologies, but I was bringing my knowledge as a software test engineer to the table, and that really helped me build the confidence to go to the next level, which was like software development. The other important thing to remember is unlearning the old role. So if you are coming, for example, if you are coming from a software engineering background and you're going for product management, you might want to shift your focus from how to solution something, how to build something, into what exactly do we want to build or what business problem do we want to solve. It's a mental shift and it will take some time, but it really helps if you get into a learner's mindset and not think too much about what you have been doing before and how you have been doing things before. That can give you a really good learning opportunity, and you can also build some credibility around your peers by learning really fast. Set some key performance indicators for yourself and then review them. For example, if you are now working independently and you have been given new responsibilities, you have been given new projects where you are left to perform on your own, you have received a promotion or a pay raise. And this is also an indicator that you're really doing good in your new role, which means you have made the right decision. Asking for your peer and manager's feedback is also a really good way to build that confidence. The first year of your career transition, you may go into that self doubt, if I have done made the right choice or not. But if you keep on reviewing your goals and then reflect on your growth and then have your peers and your managers to provide you feedback, it can really help you know if you are actually liking the thing, and it will make your not just liking the thing, but if you are on the growth part, and if you're learning and growth part, it means that you are really fit for that role, and spending more and investing more time and energy into becoming an expert in that will really help you. So that's what my find your fit and make the move framework is. There are some references that you can use to further learn about how soft skills are can set you apart in a career transition journey. And thank you so much. And thank you, Women Tech Makers, for inviting me for this session.
Thank you, Huma, so much. First of all, big shout out to our guests. So don't forget to come into the Career Transition channel. If you do have any questions regarding the talk, if there was a sequence that you couldn't understand, if you want to have something repeated, if you want to hear something more in detail, please post it there. We are bringing Huma on stage within the next seconds, and I would be happy to talk with her about your questions. Hi, Huma, sorry. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How about yourself? And great conference.
I'm doing good, thank you very much. It's very hot in Vienna today. How is it at your place?
I'm in Washington. It's bright and sunny, and it's pretty nice weather here.
Well, talking about, you were on your way to Vienna in March, right? You were at the airport, right? You wanted to fly to our conference, and I think you had to decide within a few hours or something like that you couldn't come, and we had to decide within a few hours whether we were about to cancel.
That's right. I was actually onboarded and the plane was about to fly. So that's when the announcement was made about a possible travel ban from all the European flights because of COVID. So it was literally like 10 minutes before the flight took off and I had to get off the plane. It was a very interesting experience, and I have published a blog about it. But I'm looking forward to come to Vienna, hopefully soon when this is all over.
If you have published it, maybe you can post also the link, then we can read it.
I'll do that.
I imagine that it's kind of relief that you can give this talk right now.
Yes, absolutely. Because I've been really looking forward to this, and I thank Women Tech Makers. I've been part of several different WTM communities and also an ambassador myself. But I'm really impressed the way WTM Vienna is. They have organized this, and your team has been really, really, really awesome in collaborating and coordinating this whole activity. So I was really looking forward, and now I'm really excited that finally, my talk is out there.
I'm so lucky to have you here. Let me start with a question, okay? Lara Warner has posted a question in our chat, and she asked, how big of a role did mentors play in your career so far?
Mentors, they definitely play a very critical role, both mentors and sponsors. So I just wanted to make the distinction as well. So especially during transition and before the transition, mentors, both times I was there was a when I was going into the self-doubt mode, if I can do this, or if I'm a good fit for this, or if I should take the next step. Because once you're already in your comfort zone, you're already established in your career, transitioning can be daunting, and it can be it can make you nervous that if you should do that. That's when mentors play really, really important and critical role. So mentors they can help you identify those skills that are soft skills that I talked about. If they have seen you working, so they can help you in that identification. Sponsors are also very important. Sponsors are people who are not just guiding you, but actually creating opportunities for you. So I would say in career transition, or generally, in career progression, sponsors are also very critical, because they are in that position to create those opportunities for you and take some actions to help you get there. So I would say both are very important, and they have played a significant role in my career journey as well.
Cool. Laura, I hope that answers your question. I have another question. Women, to my experience, tend to plan in advance. They plan with a lot of eventualities. For example, they say something like, yeah, I do want to have a higher position, or I do want to have another job position, but I might also move to another city, or I might also get pregnant. So they always take these eventualities into consideration. Also, although they neither have this higher position right now, nor are they pregnant, for example. So the question is, can you rely to such thinking in eventualities? And what kind of advice could you give to other women?
This is a really good question, and I briefly touched on the triggers part. So a lot of my friends, and including myself, there is a phase, especially in early career or when you're starting, those kind of questions, they even, those kind of questions even used to come in interviews as well. Like, when are you planning to get married? Some of these questions are not appropriate to ask, especially in first world countries, but in Pakistan, those questions used to be part of the interview as well. So since those questions are being asked by family, by friends, by everybody around you, so you already start thinking ahead, like, if I can take this job, or if I can take this promotion, or if I should be career oriented or not. So, and they definitely hold you back. They did had an impact on me as well. Like, I do remember that when I was changing between countries, and I was going through like different life events, like getting married, having children. So yes, those questions impacted me. But finally, what I realized that those life-changing events, I want to find harmony between how I want my life versus what I can do at my job. So I started looking for opportunities that were more flexible in terms of, in terms of location, in terms of flexibility, when I can work. So that's where I would highly recommend that the employer that you choose and the company that you work for also plays a really important role, and the team and your manager itself. So if you are in right environment, and that environment is not pushing you to start thinking or taking into account all the different combinations, then you can definitely focus more on your career progression. And that's what I did. It was hard to find a team like that. It was hard to find a company like that. But I would highly encourage that if you are in that position, look for employers who are flexible location wise, and they give you that flexibility and support to harmonize your life as a mother, as a partner, and also as a parent, and also as a tech maker.
Thank you very much. Thank you for answering all these questions from such a personal perspective. And thank you that you could find the time to be with us for this little talk right now. We are going to move in our next break.
Thank you so much for inviting, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.